My name is Vanessa, and this is the story of how I sold everything I had, just to send the man I loved abroad. I met Michael when we were both struggling. We were so in love. I was working as a secretary during the day. And in the evenings, I would go to my street and fry akara to make extra money. It wasn't easy, but we had dreams. Michael had even bigger dreams. He always talked about going abroad, doing his masters, and giving us a better life. I so much believed in his dreams. I loved how he always included me in his dreams. Every evening, he would come and sit beside me at my akara stand. We would talk for hours. He would tell me, "Vanessa, one day, I'll make you proud. I will make a lot of money and you will never fry akara again." And I believed him. I believed him so much that I made the biggest sacrifice of my life, so I decided to help him achieve his dream. For years, I worked harder than ever before. Office work in the morning, akara business in the evening. I saved every little money I could. But even after all that, the money was still not enough. That was when I made the most painful decision of my life. Before my father died, he left me a small piece of land. It was the only thing I had from him. The only inheritance he left for me. But because I believed in Michael and our future, I sold that land. I sold the last thing my father left for me, just to help the man I love travel abroad. Finally, the money was complete. I was so happy. Then I called him and handed the envelope to him. We were both happy. Finally he can achieve his dreams and give us a better life. On the day Michael left, at the airport he said to me, "I will never forget you, Vanessa. Once I'm done with my studies I will come back for you." These words kept me going daily. The first 6 months, he called every day. We would talk for hours. About his classes. About the cold weather. About how different everything was. About how much he missed my akara. About our future. Those calls were everything to me. After that 6 months the calls began to change. He no longer called me like before, and when I call him he would tell me he is busy, that he'd call back. But he never did. Sometimes he would say he was too busy with school. I tried to understand. Until one day I heard from someone in the neighborhood that Michael had returned to Nigeria. I was in shock. I wondered why he didn't tell me. Or was he trying to surprise me? I thought to myself. But 3 days passed and I didn't hear from my Michael. So I decided to call him. When he picked up, his voice sounded cold, like I was talking to a stranger. I said, "Michael, I heard you're back in Nigeria. Why didn't you tell me?" There was silence for a moment. Then he said something that broke my heart. "Vanessa, I didn't come back because of you. I can't see myself marrying someone like you." My heart dropped. "Someone like me?" I asked quietly. Then he said something I will never forget. "You sell akara on the street. I live abroad now. Our lives are different." Before I could even respond, he hung up. I was in shock, that I couldn't believe what I just heard. I thought maybe he was stressed. Let me give him some days, he will calm down and come back to me, I said to myself. That same weekend, I was scrolling through Facebook when I saw something that made my hands start shaking. It was Michael. My Michael. Standing proudly beside another woman. The caption read, "Happily married to the love of my life." Tears filled my eyes as I stared at the picture. So after using my money to travel abroad. After I sold my father's land for him. So after everything I did for him. Michael married someone else, and took her abroad. Years passed. I worked harder than ever. From frying akara. I started processing beans. From processing beans. I built a business. From a business. I built a factory. Along the way, I met a kind man named Paul. Paul didn't care that I once fried akara on the street. Instead, he admired my strength. He encouraged me to go back to school and complete my education. He paid for my university fees. Years later, we got married. We built a beautiful life together. 2 children. A thriving business. Peace and love finally found me. We were happy. 10 years later, something unexpected happened. I received a call from an international number. When I answered, I heard a voice I never expected to hear again. It was Michael. He was begging. Vanessa, please forgive me. But I ended the call. Then one afternoon, I was in my factory and my staff came to meet me saying, Madam, there are 2 people here to see you. They said it's very important. I wasn't expecting anyone. So I told them to let them in. When I looked up, my heart skipped. It was Michael. Standing right in front of me. And beside him was his wife. For a moment, I couldn't even speak. This was the same man I once sacrificed everything for. The same man who broke me. Now standing in my office like a stranger. Michael looked around the warehouse in shock. Machines working. Staff moving around. Finished products stacked neatly. Then he looked at me again, like he couldn't believe it. Vanessa, is this really you? He asked. I didn't answer. I just stood there, calm. Then suddenly, he and his wife went down on their knees. Right there. Please forgive me, he said, his voice shaking. I made the biggest mistake of my life. His wife started crying too. Please, we are begging you. Forgive us. I felt something rise inside me. Anger. Pain. Memories. All the nights I cried. All the sacrifices I made. The land I sold. The life I almost lost because of him. I looked at them for a few seconds. Then I turned around. And walked out. Without saying a single word. But they didn't stop. My staff said. They kept coming back every day. I was no longer comfortable. So that evening, I told my husband everything. He listened quietly. Then he said something I didn't expect. And he looked at me. And said something I will never forget. He said, Vanessa, look at your life now. Look at everything you've become. You have everything, a beautiful family and thriving business, you have already won. Don't let your past steal your peace again. Forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. Those words changed something in me. So a few days later, I asked my manager to bring them to my house. When they arrived, they knelt down again. Crying. Begging. This time, I didn't see the man who hurt me. I saw 2 broken people. And in that moment, I let go. I forgave them. And for the first time in years, I felt something leave my heart. A heavy weight. Finally gone. Life has a way of balancing everything. The same person you suffer for today may not be the one to enjoy your tomorrow. Never lose yourself trying to build someone else. And never underestimate a woman who decides to rise again. Because one day, the same person they ignored will become the one they can never reach again. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share and follow for more African tales.